Welcome to Inside Carbondale. This is the podcast that brings you the latest information about projects and events going on in Carbondale. I'm Amy Fox, the Public Relations Officer for the City of Carbondale. I'm joined by Kelechi, Agwuncha, Kennedy Joseph, and Aster, Arsenau, all students at SIU. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you.
We're just a few days away from the start of the 40th annual Big Muddy Film Festival, which is one of the nation's longest-running student-run independent film festivals. And tell me, how did the Big Muddy Film Festival get its start?
So the festival was created by Mike Covell. Mike Covell came from Ohio State University. He was a professor there. And they had a festival there called the Athens International Film Festival. So he came to SIU and he saw something missing within the community, so he decided to create a festival at SIU. And he created a festival with three other female students, and it's been going for 40 years exactly. And we're just kind of being passed the torch and going on from there.
How has the festival evolved over the last 40 years? It probably started out pretty small.
It did. It was it started out pretty large. We are kind of dwindling in numbers, but you see that the numbers right now, it's just pure dedication. Everyone in the club wants to be there. Everyone wants to decide upon the independent films that we choose and hand select within the festival. So it's just crazy how everyone's put all hands on deck to help out.
And what can people expect to see at this year's festival?
Well, there's no surprise about the kind of films that we have. We've always kind of had something for everyone, but I know that there's been a big emphasis on cultural films this year. We have a lot of foreign films. We have a lot of documentaries about people from other cultures, people who just live alternative lifestyles, and we're giving them a voice and a platform to tell their stories. We have a lot of different events. We are reaching out to a lot of alumni. There's a special closing ceremony that we have that's dedicated to the alumni, the cinema department, and specifically we'll be talking about Big Muddy and how it's evolved over the 40 years and what people can expect coming in the future.
I saw one of your flyers that says you have 73 different films in 6 different categories, so there's really something for everyone.
We have multiple blocks. There's one specifically dedicated to horror sci-fi films. We have a female empowerment block filled with like a documentary about the Women's March and the Cambridge building takeover in Harvard. There's experimental films showing at WDVX as well. And we have our John Michaels social justice kind of showcase.
The John Michaels Award was created in the honor of a student who recently died after he graduated, and he really helped out with the Big Muddy crew. So Mike Covell created that award in his name because he helped out with a lot of empowering films and films that evoked social justice. So from there, we honestly just nominate a film, and we decide which one needs that award or deserves that award.
How do you go about deciding which films will be shown and which ones won't be shown?
It's a really amazing process because we are all so dedicated to cinema and photography. I mean, this is all what we want to do for our professions. We come together every Saturday for several months and just watch films for hours and hours. And during that time, we get to debate the cinematics. We get to go over, what we liked, what we didn't like. And we really scrutinize on which films we want to present for our festival and what we want to showcase. It's really incredible having everyone come together and doing that as a crew. And it also kind of gives us, the students, a valid voice and a place in the cinema world where we can feel strong and powerful and like our opinions matter.
Where will all the films be shown? I know you said throughout the Carbondale community. Do you have specific locations?
We have a lot of venues across Carbondale. They include the Carbondale Public Library, WDVX, the Student Center on campus, Guyan Auditorium and Morris Library, the Flyover Shop, Long Branch, the Varsity Center, Pinch Penny Pub, and the Soundstage as well in the Mass Communications building. That's where we also have a lot of films showing as well.
And why do some of them off campus? Why not just do the whole event on campus?
We want to make sure that we are not just making this community or university focused, but we want to make sure it's community focused as well, which is why we encourage and make sure that we're including other communities within Southern Illinois to host venues so that people can access the screenings for the films and like last year we had, I think, a screening in Murfreesboro, possibly. But we really think it's important that everyone can access these films and see what is being hand selected, and also just see something different, because people are often just provided AMC films or mainstream streaming films, so we want to provide them a different flavor of what they're not usually given.
Just to add to that, I think we all think that Southern Illinois is a really beautiful region, and so we kind of want to show off all these small businesses and the nature, and so this is a good way to not only promote the fine arts and these independent, really cool films, but also to, show off our community, give them some love, the businesses.
One of the most important questions is, do you need a ticket to get into any of these films?
This year, we decided to do something different. In the past, they've done donation only for the festival, but this year we are instilling that again, because we want everyone to be able to access the films regardless of if you can afford it or not. So we are really encouraging donation only for a lot of the events, especially the varsity, which is currently raising funds to get their operations back up and going. So donation only.
This answer may be different for each of you, but why is this film festival so special to you?
So the Big Muddy is special to me because it's something that I don't think is accessible or at least available in any other town. I think it's different because it's fully student run, and we have the grips on what we want to see and what we want to do with the festival. Another reason it's special is that, Carbondale is a large city, but it's also just like a town. It's not like Chicago, it's not like New York, but seeing the festival here reminds me of just that atmosphere of seeing art house films, art house filmmakers, art house people in this environment for 1 week to unite and talk about one collective thing. So it's interesting to see the scapes of how we can see different diverse films within this festival, and it's that for that reason it's special to me.
What makes this film festival really special to me, and I think I already kind of touched on this, but is us, the students' ability to get to choose the films and curate this festival. That's really incredible. In the film industry, there isn't, much room for us little guys. So us being able to take a hold of this and make it our own and showcase all these films that we think are so important. It's been a great, professional experience, as well as one just, fun and exciting for us to get to do together and learn together how this is going to work.
In addition to the students, why is it so important for the rest of the community to come out and support the Big Muddy Film Festival, regardless of their age?
Well, yeah, we have films for everyone of all ages. We even have a kids screening. Community that's the emphasis that we put on this festival, is reaching out to the community and Southern Illinois in general, because we want everyone to know that there's a place for you here. If you don't feel at home anywhere else, the Big Muddy, you're at home. You can get films that remind you of home, that remind you of happiness, things like that. I don't know, it's just being able to watch films with people who enjoy film just for the sake of film is really comforting. And there's just something nice having a space to be able to do that.
Kind of like what Kelechi said earlier as well, just like Carbondale, we have the kind of vibe of a big city, but we're still kind of a small town. And so being able to bring these small independent films to Carbondale is a huge deal for culture and for exposure to this kind of media, because it's not something you usually get here.
And whether you attend all 73 films or maybe just one or two, what are you hoping the reaction is?
I think that what I want people to get from the films, I want people to be able to see something fresh and new when they watch these films. I want them to see a different perspective on life. I want them to be able to explore new stories and be able to see the world from a new perspective. We have so many films that talk about different walks of life and about different events that most people didn't know about. Education is kind of really important in our day and age, and these films are a way to do that, and they're a way to do that in an engaging and enjoyable way around people who love film.
I want people to see that they can experience and watch different walks of life as well. Every film that they watch doesn't have to be something within the norms, but they can watch a film that maybe they wouldn't see outside of this festival. For example, we have a lot of international films. A a lot from the UK, some from Canada, some from Germany. But with the American life that we present within the festival, it's not what you would typically see. So we want people to understand that they can see something outside of their reality, that they can experience something outside of their reality, and even create something and be inspired to make change for a lot of the film's incentives.
A lot of times, like you've already said about AMC, like we see these same films over and over again, like the superhero and stuff, and now seeing a perspective from, someone who's not usually in charge of those films, like women of color directing films. Like, that's just so important because you see this whole new perspective, and it's also, like, I don't know, just inspiring to get to see new ways of thinking, I don't know, than, like, the norm that you see all the time represented in Hollywood and then on television 24/7.
We've covered a lot of really good information about the Big Muddy Film Festival. If people would like to learn more about the festival, your schedule, is there a good website that they can go to?
This website was specially designed by our very vice president.
My heart and soul went into this website, so you can visit our you can see our schedule, time listings, learn just more about the Big Muddy Film. There's also opportunities to volunteer at our website as well. It's at bigmuddyfilm.com. We also have our Facebook page at Big Muddy Fest and our Instagram at official Big Muddy Film Fest. So you can get all kinds of information and updates as we get closer to the festival.
And during this whole interview, guess what I forgot to ask you? When is the festival?
February 19th to the 25th.
Monday through Sunday.
Yes, and again, we have juror talks, we have different screenings, we have our big opening reception, guest artists, our big closing reception, as well as the John Michael Showcase and the award showcase as well. And that's all happening, and you can visit our website and look at our schedule to find out what's happening.
Great. Thank you so much for joining me. And I hope all of you will join us next time for another episode of Inside Carbondale. Have a great day. If you have feedback or have ideas for future podcasts, feel free to email me at afox@explorecarbondale.com.